Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks for joining me today. I'm back with a new layout for the Shimmerz education team. And don't forget to mention my name when you're checking out of the Shimmerz store because you can get a free mini surprise paint in your package. So I'm sure you've noticed and saw on social media that we just released 7 new colors, and I'm going to be using 4 of them today on my layout, and these are 4 of the original Shimmerz paints, just new colors. So I'm going to start with a homemade stencil, I guess you could call this. I used white cardstock to cut this out, and this is a Paige Evans cut file, and it's called Heart Squares Texture Background. And I don't think I had my blade turned up high enough because I had to go back and punch out all of these little hearts, but it was okay. It's basically kind of a grid or a quadrant, a grid of 4 quadrants. Am I saying that right? Of little hearts, and I thought this would make a really fun textured background, and so I cut it on some white cardstock, and then I'm going to use some thick white smooth cardstock as my background. And before I do anything, I'm going to add some clear gesso to it, and I'm going to coat the entire thing from corner to corner because I'm going to cover most of this entire sheet with the paint because I wanted to give each quadrant in the grid its own color, and then I thought I might put my photo in the middle. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take some white modeling paste. I don't even know if modeling paste comes in different colors, but I know texture paste does, but modeling paste I'm not sure. It's very thick and creamy, and so I'm gonna use a palette knife and just smudge it over and get a really thick coating. And so when I peel this off, I'm going to have a bunch of bumpy white hearts on the background, and it's going to create the coolest texture, and it's going to look really neat when I start to add the paint on top of it. So if you don't have stencils, this is a way you can make your own if you have a die cutting machine. So you can kind of see there what that looks like. White on white looks really cool, and I'm going to use a black and white picture, and it's going to go right in the middle. And so my thought was I would do each square a different color and then add embellishments of each color on that square, kind of a color blocking or a tone on tone type of thing. So wait till you see these colors. If you haven't seen them yet, they're so pretty. The first one I'm going to use is called Wisteria Lane, and I would describe it as a dusty purple. It's very pretty. I squirted some water down first and then added a little bit of the paint. I'm just going to let it run. This is a very easy technique to do if you want to try mixed media, but you're not quite brave enough, or you're kind of scared that you might mess it up, because this really was easy to do. The texture paste thing was very easy. I let it dry, and all I'm going to do is take these 4 colors and very messily paint each section a new color, and then I'm going to kind of go from there. But this part is very easy. What's this next color that I'm using? Oh, this one's called So-Sappy, and I would describe this one as an orangey copper brown, and it's actually very shimmery. All of these Shimmerz originals are extremely shimmery and sparkly because it's almost like someone took the color and dumped in a bunch of sparkly glitter and blended it up super fine, and when it dries, it's so shimmery and it's got this texture look to it. It almost looks like you can see the glitter. This is my favorite of the 4 colors. Look at this pink. Y'all know I love me some pink, and this is called Pip Cherry-O, and it is so rich and so vibrant, and when it dries, oh my goodness, I was going goo-goo over this color. Love that one. The last one is a light blue color, and it's called When Skies Are Gray, and it's kind of a gray day blue. Like, it's a rainy day, it's winter time, and it's blue, but it has a gray tone to it, kind of like, just reminds me of winter time, I guess. But living in Florida, do I really even know what winter looks like? Probably not, but if I did, it would be that color. So I thought I would add a little bit of variation on each color, or on most of them. So I went through my shimmer sprays, and that color that I just sprayed on there is Vibez Princess. And it's just more of a deeper, rich purple. and I just wanted to add a little bit of something to add variation of color, a little bit something, maybe a little bit darker, just to kind of pool around the hearts, and you can kind of see how it's doing that. The color that I'm adding to the So-Sappy is Vibez Sunset Strip, and then I'm going to add a little bit to the blue quadrant, and I'm going to add in some Coloringz Well Blew Me Down and Vibez Frostbite, and just add a little bit of water and kind of smush it around with my brush. I think I leave the pink quadrant as is. I felt like it had enough lights and darks in it. So see how easy that was. You just add color to the squares and let it dry. And so then I got to looking at it and I thought the edges are too harsh and it's too bold. I wanted to soften it up. So here's what I'm going to do. And again, this is easy. I'm going to add the gesso. This is white gesso, and kind of try to fade away some of the edges. So I'm just going to smudge it down on the sides. And my thought was to have kind of the outer edges be very light. We can almost see the color, and then towards the middle of the layout, the colors get darker and richer. And so I tried that with the gesso, and it just wasn't covering enough. And so I let that dry, and then off camera, I took some white acrylic paint and smudged over where the gesso is, and you'll see here in just a second how that looks. There you can kind of see the white paint was a little bit thicker, but you can kind of see it. You can definitely still see the texture, but I love how it's concentrated toward the middle, and then it kind of fades out on the outer edges. So now I'm going to start to work with the picture, and what I'm going to do for my embellishments on this layout is sort of one of those whatever's on my desk, whatever's in my random bin type of layout. So a little bit of everything but the kitchen sink. I'm adding some foam behind my picture. So let's see what I pulled out here. I've got a random Project Life card that's got pink on it. And like I said, I was looking for things that were blue, coppery orange, purple, and pink. I have some floral die cuts. I believe those are from Bella Boulevard. And at first I started just kind of putting things wherever, and then the more I did it, the more I liked the tone on tone thing. That big light purple flower is from Vicky Bouton. I didn't really have a lot of things that were that coppery color, and so I'm going to make these things myself. This is a, I believe, crepe paper wood veneer, and I just coated it with some white gesso, and then I'm going to color it with the Shimmerz. And one thing I love about these Shimmerz original paints is that even though they're already watery when you get them, they're still pretty thick, and they go over wood veneer awesome. I mean, just this was super fast to do, and when it dries, it's real shimmery. You're going to be able to see that at the end. But yeah, so whenever you have a color and you don't have any embellishments to match, paint a die cut or paint a piece of wood veneer. Just make it. And so that's kind of like what I thought I would do here. Whatever I didn't have to match, I thought I'll just paint it and make it match. I do go back with each of the 4 colors and add some splatters, and that's really easy to do. So that paint is thick enough to coat wood veneer, but it's also thin enough to splatter. I didn't have to water it down, but you most certainly could water it down if you want to lighten it up. So I'm going to come back to my photo here and start to tuck in all the goodies that I have. That butterfly on the right is a Vicky Bouton die cut. I went through my Amy Tan stuff, another Vicky Bouton die cut. I didn't necessarily want the sentiment on that. I just wanted the pink. Another random Project Life card. Here's a random die cut. I couldn't even tell you where it's from. It was just in my bin of random die cuts that I've had for a long time. And so I wanted to add some color variation on the blue section. So I just spritzed it with some of the Well Blew Me Down. And I'm going to add that in once it's dry. That loop-de-loop little cut file there, that may be from the cut shop. I have so many cut files from over the years that I haven't used, and I don't remember where they're all from. All I'm doing now is adding in thread. I've got thread of all 4 colors, and you know I have to have some thread on my backgrounds, and so that's all I'm doing here is just pulling it off the spool, looping it up, and tucking it under one of the die cuts or the wood veneer or whatever I have on each quadrant, and kind of let that peek out from behind everything. Gonna add in that little loop-de-loop. And a lot of these little shapes are just random. I mean, I've got flowers, I've got butterflies, I've got hearts, I've got loop-de-loops. I felt like I needed something else in the purple, so I'm gonna, again, customize this butterfly with the Wisteria Lane and the Princess Vibes, and just color it, let it dry. And I've got some other little bits and pieces over there on the left. I just picked out anything that was the coordinating color. I don't wind up using all of it. I found a little aqua acrylic circle. I couldn't tell you where it was from. My thing was I found a lot of pink. I didn't find a lot of purple. I did find a sticker. I believe that's from that Amy Tan sticker sheet, but I didn't want the Feeling Fine part, so I just tucked it in so you can kind of see a little bit of a different shade of purple. And here I go again, coloring another die cut. I don't remember where this one's from either, but it's white cardstock, and so I'm just going to cover it with the So-Sappy because I felt like I needed something else in that quadrant. I just didn't have a lot there. And I really like how all these layers are looking, and this is just kind of random things. It was fun to do this. It was fun to use up stash, and it was fun to customize things the color that I needed it. And I just like the way it looks, kind of, you know, peeking out from behind the picture, and each color quadrant is coordinated. I still didn't find any other things. I kept searching. Off camera, I kept searching in things. I have way too much stuff to search through every single collection that I have ever purchased or been sent. And so I'm thinking, I'm just going to color these myself. I had these two palm frond die cuts from a recent project left over. So again, just color them and tuck them in. And this layout has nothing to do with palm fronds, but you know what? I didn't care. I just wanted random things kind of layered in, and I like the way it looks. I was just going for the way it looks on this, not necessarily meaningful shapes, because I was mainly going for, you know, just let's keep the color scheme matching, and just add layers of whatever I could find. I did kind of glue it all down as much as I could so I could move the whole thing without having to move all those pieces. And off camera I did some stitching. I did some gold. I just went back and forth each way to kind of make each grid stand out a little bit more. And then I'm going to come in with some foam just to raise the whole thing up. And then I'm going to go back and stick down the things that didn't get stuck down the first time. I really love how that background turned out. Up close, you can really see the hearts. I know from this distance, it's kind of hard to see that they're hearts, but when you see the close-ups, you'll be able to see the texture. And I chose a black and white photo because I knew I was going to be using these 4 colors, and you know, black and white allows you to do whatever color scheme you want, and you don't have to worry about the colors in the photo clashing with the colors that you're going to use. So black and white, it's always a safe bet. And this photo was, I love the photo, but it didn't matter if it was in color or black and white. Sometimes I want my photo in color, and sometimes I want it in black and white. But this one could have gone either way, but I just wanted it to, you know, stand out amongst all these colors. And again, I wanted the colors to stand out without competing with photo colors, if that makes any sense. I'm getting close to being done. Now, I did wind up having to do a few things off camera because my video camera legit broke and I could not finish filming. I had to send my husband out to buy me a new one this evening. I about had a meltdown. But you didn't miss much. All I did was add the title, I added the date, and I added a couple more little stickers around. But it's basically me just adding things. But that's the final layout. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun to make. I love the colors. And here come the close-ups. You can see the hearts. And I tried to get as many close-ups as I could in different lighting so you could see the shimmer of these new colors. So pretty. And the more you layer the color on, the richer it's going to get. The more you water it down, the lighter it's going to get. So you really can get a lot of different shades using just one color. But yeah, this was great. I love making this. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to have all the colors that I used down below, so you can go check those out. And I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.